The UK government, along with some allies, have sanctioned 2 Israeli government ministers. In a joint statement with Australia, Canada, New Zealand and Norway, the UK says comments by Itamar Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich have incited violence against Palestinians. The sanctions include asset freezes and travel bans. Joining us now is Stuart Livingstone-Wallace, Bloomberg's executive editor for Middle East, North Africa and Russia, joining us there in Dubai. Stuart, how significant are these sanctions?
Good morning. So, I think in terms of the day-to-day, what it means for both of these ministers, probably not very much, quite symbolic in the sense that I don't think either of them were probably planning on travelling to either of these places. I doubt either of them have assets in any of these jurisdictions. So the immediate impact, I suspect, is limited. However, again, thinking about the symbolic, it is quite important, I would say, and signals a continuing trend that we've seen over the last several weeks, where at least some of the European nations and some of their allies are in trying to find a path where they can, on the one hand, try and constrain the Israeli government in terms of its actions, particularly in Gaza and the West Bank, but at the same time not take a hard line against them. So, in other words, they're trying to find that middle path where they're constraining them, but also making it very clear, as the British Prime Minister has, that Israel has the absolute right to defend itself, and they understand why this war erupted in the first place. But it shows, I think, a crack going on now between the Western allies in terms of their approach to Israel.
And especially when it comes to the U.S. We heard from Secretary of State Marco Rubio criticizing the move, saying it doesn't actually advance ceasefire efforts. Could this potentially, again, derail efforts to reach a ceasefire?
Yeah, I think you're quite right in terms of seeing that gap emerging and widening now between particularly the Europeans and the US. But in terms of does it derail the peace process, probably not. It doesn't seem to affect that. Obviously there is pressure coming in from the European allies and others. I'm not sure the Israeli government is paying much attention to that pressure. And you saw Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, come out yesterday and said that there had been progress. Now, he was quite cautious and quite cagey about what that progress looked like, but it's interesting that he felt the need to say something publicly about progress of some sort being made.